We have the new moon at 1 degree of Pisces happening on February 19th at 11:05 p.m. Pacific, which is 2:05 a.m. Eastern time. Check your local time to see when this lunation is occurring for you. And pardon my voice throughout this video and probably the next bunch of videos. I lost my voice last week. I had a really bad flu or cold or whatever it was, and my voice went out for a couple of days. So I'm still a little raspy, and if I try to hit any type of high note, I just completely rasp out, if you will. But anyway, Pisces season kicked off 24 hours ago, and now we have the stellium with the sun and moon, of course, because we always have that during a new moon. A new moon is a conjunction of the moon and sun. But we also have Venus here for about another 24 hours or so before it moves off into Aries. And of course, we have Neptune here, as we've had Neptune here for a while. So we've got some big Pisces energy occurring during this lunation. And when it comes down to the energies of this moon, it's mixed bag. There are definitely some alignments that are saving graces, but there are a few alignments that are a bit complicated. Luckily, we have only one discomforting vibe on the graph, and that happens to be emotional sensitivity popping up from about the 19th all the way up until the 20th. There are some triggery moments occurring during this moon, so we may be in our feels. I mean, with all this water energy and all this Piscean energy, and Pisces of all the water signs is one of those signs where it feels everything so rawly and the most. And so we will be feeling our feels, we will be processing our emotions, but in some ways we may feel more sensitive than normal and more triggery than normal as a result of this. That emotional sensitivity is intersecting mental energy. So of course we're going to be in our heads about things, but the mental energy picks up around the end of the 19th all the way up until the 21st. So by that point in time, we'll feel more clear-minded to process what we were going through. The highest amount of energy on the graph happens to be romantic energy. It wouldn't be a Pisces moon without some romantic energy in it, because Pisces is a very romantic sign. So this could give us some opportunities for closeness, flirtation, and lots of passion in our intimate relationships. But now that we're here in this fresh Piscean energy, we get the opportunity to kick off something new within this sign. New moons are about opening up opportunities in the sign associated with it and finding ways to incorporate the best attributes of that sign. So that way, when we get to the full moon within the associated sign, the new moon in Pisces, this is our starting point. So by the time we get to August 30th, when we have the full moon in Pisces, we'll get the opportunity to see how far we've come in this sign. What would you like to draw in for yourself regarding Pisces energy? For some people within Piscean energy, it's about getting your belief back. Pisces has a lot to do with our faith and our beliefs. And a lot of the times this can translate in getting that system back in your life. It doesn't have to be religion. It could be that you've simply lost faith and belief in a lot of things. Sometimes we go through shit in life and it just causes us to be jaded and we stop believing in things. We stop believing in either ourselves. We stop believing in humanity. We lose faith when it comes down to relationships. And, specifically, sometimes that could be romantic relationships. Sometimes that could be family. Sometimes that could be friends. But when we've gone through a period where we've lost hope in other people, ourselves, and situations or circumstances in the world, we also get to a point where we're sick of feeling that way. We also get to a point where we're sick of feeling numb, and we'd like to have some sort of hope back and feel more enthusiastic about things. And again, have that faith back in ourselves or whatever our situations may be. So this could be a period where you're rebuilding that for yourself. Some other things that tie in with gaining your faith back in yourself could be all about trusting your own abilities again. Sometimes when we lose that faith in ourselves and that belief in ourselves, we stop trusting ourselves. We stop trusting our thought process or what we might be feeling. So this could be a period where you're wanting to regain faith back in your intuition as well, because maybe that's been shaky for you and you haven't been able to trust your own instincts due to maybe certain circumstances where it wasn't either effective or you felt as though it led to poor decision making. So this could be a period where you're restoring that back within yourself in terms of believing in yourself again, to trust your gut. Are you getting to a place where you're realizing that you need to pour more compassion into yourself? Pisces is a very compassionate sign. It is a very empathetic sign. And a lot of the times with that Piscean energy, we give that empathy and that compassion back to other people. But when it comes down to ourselves, we're depleted. When it comes down to ourselves, we're not as gentle. So this could be a period where you're wanting to start the process where you learn how to treat yourself with more care and give yourself the same sort of grace and compassion as you would give another person. Also with this, are you looking to break past your own limitations? In other words, Pisces is a sign with no boundaries. It is a boundless sign. And one of the gifts with Pisces is it teaches us how to get past our own self-imposed limitations that we put on ourselves, all these constraints that we put on our life. This could also tie into beliefs as well, because sometimes it may not be that you've lost belief in faith. Sometimes a belief system can hold us back. Sometimes it can cause us to create a false narrative that constrains us. So this could be a period where you're trying to develop ways to get out of that mindset so that way you're living a limitless life. Pisces happens to be a very creative sign. So is this a period where you're wanting to unlock some of that? Is this a point where you're wanting to reconnect with your imaginative side that allows for you to feel inspired so you can create? And creating things could be various things. In Piscean energy, we get creative in terms of music. We get creative in terms of poetry. Anything to do with creating film or acting, photography, or any type of art, any style of art. So is this a period where you're wanting to connect with that? Some people happen to be very creative types and they go through artistic block, and this could be a period where you're wanting to break through that and get connected to your imaginative side. So it could be channeled into something tangible and an artistic work you could be proud of. And of course, with Pisces, are you wanting to strengthen your spiritual principles? Are you wanting to connect with your higher self? Are you wanting to become that type of person that is more consistent when it comes down to spirituality? This could tie back in with faith, and a lot of the times this is also, another thing that people sometimes lose faith in. Sometimes it could be our spiritual side, and so this could be a time where you're wanting to regain faith back in that and your abilities to be connected with your higher self. But if it hasn't been a result of a loss of faith or belief, maybe it's just that life has gotten in the way and you haven't been able to be consistent with your spiritual practices. Maybe it could be meditating. Maybe you were the type to meditate every day and now it just has been hard to, and you're wanting to get back to that. Or maybe you were the type to participate in all types of new age traditions or whatever set you might be in, and you've fallen off for, again, various different reasons. Life gets in the way sometimes, so we're not able to be as regimented as we'd like when it comes down to these things. So that could have been one of the reasons why you've gotten off track. Or even if you haven't gotten off track, this might be a period where you're interested in developing that. Maybe you're interested in developing your psychic abilities or getting into some sort of age tradition of sorts. So this could be a way for you to incorporate that in your life. And also, this could be a time where you're wanting to find that spiritual community that resonates with you. You're wanting to find people who are on the same wavelength, on the same track when it comes down to spirituality, because you're craving a sense of community when it comes down to your ideals. So this could be a time where you're building that up in your life. This could be a time where you're seeking out different types of groups of spiritual communities. So that way you're finding your tribe of high vibe people. Let's look at these transits and see what we can expect from this lunation. As a reminder, don't forget to like and subscribe because it helps this channel grow. And if you'd like to support the work of this channel, you could do so by buying me a fresh cup of coffee. There's a link in the description box below. So this moon is making mixed bag alignments. The chart rulers are Jupiter and Neptune. Jupiter being the ancient ruler of Pisces before Neptune was discovered, and Neptune being the modern ruler of Pisces. Mercury will be making a sextile to the ancient ruler Jupiter, and we need this because number one, it helps with communication. Number two, it also helps with mental clarity. And a lot of the times when we're dealing with Piscean energy, things could be hazy, things could be foggy, and this will give us the opportunity to come out of that a bit. This will give us a moment to experience mental sharpness and also diffuse any drama that might be occurring during this lunation, because when Mercury and Jupiter get together in this alignment, it really helps us in terms of just taking the sting out of the air and communicating in a way that de-escalates certain situations. And speaking of fog and de-escalating certain situations, Neptune, the modern ruler, will be connecting with Mars. Mars is making a square to Neptune, and this in itself can create moments where we misunderstand situations. This is what I was talking about when it comes down to triggery energy. We may feel more sensitive than normal. We may take things the wrong way, and we may take them in a way as a slight in some sort of way. So we have to tread carefully with this because our perception will be a little bit off. And we have to remember not everything that someone says to us is meant to be a slight. Not everything that someone says is meant to be a dig. And in this energy, sometimes that can come off that way, resulting in being more combative with others. But luckily, Neptune is still connected with Venus. Venus is still in that conjunction with Neptune. It's a separating conjunction at 3 degrees away. Venus is going right into Aries the next day after this new moon, but we still get a bit of this lovely alignment that might mitigate some of the harsher energies. This is why we were seeing romance off the charts on the graph. So this can promote more passionate exchanges in our love life. Overall, this brings in a very flirty tone to the energy. And also, this connection offers up a bit of sweetness. It offers up a bit of compassion and understanding. And hopefully with that and the Mercury-Jupiter stuff, it really takes some of this thing out the air, because then we have some other alignments that are occurring. The sun and the moon are going to be semi-sextile to Venus and Saturn. And again, this brings in more of that mixed bag energy, with this being a mixed bag lunar event. And with these energies combined, this could bring to our awareness where we need to set certain boundaries when it comes down to our relationships. We'll have to address situations where there's a lack of vulnerability in relationships, and also address situations where we feel overwhelmed by responsibility in our relationships. The signs that will be most affected by this lunation is the mutable modality: Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, between 0 to 10 degrees of these placements. So if you have these in your chart, you're going to experience this lunation stronger than others. Anyway, I hope you all have the best new moon in Pisces ever. Later, and see you in the next episode.